Hey guys, today we're going to go over how to mount a third-party accessory on the MotorGuide Tour Pro or Tour. So the motor we have today is a Tour Pro, but the exact same mounting configuration is the same if you have a Tour. So today we're putting a HydroWave on this motor. We already have the tube zip ties included with the HydroWave, holding the HydroWave to the lower unit. So that's simple. You just tighten them down in the orientation you like. I typically like to line my HydroWave up so it's angled a little bit so that when I stow it, it never hits the deckets. I always stow my motor prop towards the inside of the boat. So that way I always tilt my HydroWave up a little bit. That helps with the cable coming out the back and just with the general stowing of the motor. So once you get the HydroWave where you want it, you can zip tie it down. Those zip ties are one-time use. I like to, once you cut them once, you can replace them with cable clamps if you want. The next thing you're gonna do is you're gonna run the wire coming off the HydroWave or an external transducer or whatever you're running up the side of the column. You'll do that with regular zip ties. The kit itself only comes with the zip ties to run the cable across the 360 breakaway system, so you have to provide the zip ties on your own. So you just run zip ties up the inner column of the trolling motor. I prefer 3. Another thing I like to do is I like to route the cable along the back side of the column so that if I ever hit something with this, I'm likely not going to hit it with the back side of the motor, and that kind of protects that accessory. So once you get up to where the outer column meets the inner column, you want to be careful and think about how you're going to run the cable. I typically put a zip tie right about here on the inner column, and then another zip tie right about here on the outer column. But in between that zip tie, I like to leave a loop of cable to allow, as the motor turns, to give the cable itself slack so that it never pulls itself too tight. So the 3 zip ties down below, it can be a little bit shorter zip ties. I used 8-inch zip ties on these ones. And then to go around the larger outer column, I had to grab a larger zip tie. So this is a 12-inch zip tie. So I like to typically get this zip tie started. And then loop cable, something around that should be sufficient to allow the motor to steer. And then this is where the parts that come with the accessory kit are nice. So both these 2 zip ties, as long as these 2 screws are included in your prop kit, these zip ties allow you to attach to a tapped hole right here and a tapped hole on the top of the 360 breakaway so that your cable can jump across this easily. So this is the zip tie that's included with the manual kit along with your propeller. So it's designed to route the cable around the 360. The way I like to do this is I always like to have this part of the cable clamp touching right here so that it's spaced off a little bit and gives you a little bit of room to run the cable. So since this one is taking the cable from the outer column to the 360 housing, give yourself a little bit of slack there, and then kind of get your zip tie started and then tighten it a little bit, and then kind of position it where you want it, and then make sure you give yourself a little bit, and then once you're happy with the slack that you have, tighten the zip tie up. And then trim the end off before you attach it to the mount. And then grab one of the screws that's included with the kit with the zip ties, put it into your cable routing feature, like so. Get it lined up and start threading it in by hand. And then finish it off with a screwdriver. Next, run the cable up to the top. There's another tapped hole on the top, and then do the exact same thing with your zip tie. So set the zip tie up so that this side's opposite of that one, so that the bottom, this touches the top of the 360 housing. Get it started on your cable. Kind of eyeball where you want the length to be, and then tighten your zip tie. Trim the excess off, and then grab your other screw, push it through, line it up, and then hand start it into the hole on the top of the 360 housing, and then finish it off with a screwdriver. Once you're done with that routing, grab the rest of your cable, run it alongside your mount, and grab one of the 2 cable routing clips that are included with it. The cable will enter the front of your clip and then pop out the side like so. Then you get it in kind of a groove right there. Space it so it's fairly close to the front so that it has clearance when you go towards the back of the mount, and then get it started by kind of pinching it in and pushing down. It's a fairly tight fit so that it doesn't slip when you're running across the lake. And it will clip in and it'll hold your cable right there. And then from there you can run it to whatever accessory you want. So this will end up plugging into the side of our HydroWave, or you'll plug it into your fish finder of choice. So that way we kind of, you know, integrate a way to get you around the 360 and kind of clean up the cable installation for an external accessory. I'm Nate Kutsier. Thanks for watching. Be sure to follow MotorGuide at motorguide.com and all of our social medias for the latest information on all of our products.